Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition. My name is Leon Jones, and this afternoon's topic: women of all races are hypergamous. Women of all races are hypergamous. Now, when I talk about women, again, to be clear, it's not all women. It's the modern day thinking woman, the one who has been corrupted by Marxist feminism or feminist Marxism. Now, being an African American man who has dated mainly African American women, black men have to understand that when you date interracially, women of other races are going to fake it to make it. In other words, when you look at the hierarchy of what women really want, African American women are very superficial. A number of them look at looks first and then everything after that. Now, when it comes to Caucasian women, Asian women, Hispanic women, they're looking at resources. And when I talk about resources, I'm talking about what kind of job, house, car. They're looking at your potential, your education, your status. So what the non-African American women are doing is they're basically faking. They're letting you know that you are the one for them. But underneath the chameleon, they're really looking for you for resources. And this is why I tell my African American brothers, doesn't matter what race of women you date. You are a man, and women are looking to get something from you. And the sex that a number of women are going to give you in return is going to be shut up sex. It's not going to be the best. Why? Because they're only utilizing the sex as manipulation. And manipulation is Machiavellian. But let me throw another caveat in here to explain this hypergamy. Because it's not all the woman's fault. Because we talk about two-parent households here. You see, when a woman has a mother, now there are some mothers who teach women how to be manipulative, but a number of mothers compete with their daughters. And sometimes they compete with their daughters for the same types of men. But it's that father. And the reason why I say the father is the pinnacle when it comes to their daughters is because their fathers raised their daughters twofold. They raised their daughters not to need a man, but they also raised their daughters to find a man who has resources. And what happens with these daughters, they're influenced to go after men who have a good job, who make a lot of money, who have their own home. They go after men who can take care of them. But on the other hand, they also go after the career, to which they make their own money because in their mind, they don't need a man to take care of them. Now, most men, they're pretty blinded when it comes to women. I've been there myself. But experience tells you that if you understand a woman's nature, you won't have a hard time with women. And when it comes to hypergamy, what hypergamy is, it's for women by women. In other words, we live in a hypergamous culture which caters to women. If you look at everything set up from dating to jobs to the laws in this country, they're all about women. Now, I can't fault women for the laws that are set up by men. Now, there's a reason why the hypergamous nature in this country keeps your average man down. Because you have your elitist men at the top who are making all the money. And one thing I can tell you about men is that men have a competitive nature. And what men at the top don't want are men who are at the bottom trying to take power away from them. So what happens is men at the top create all these different ladders for men at the bottom to climb. The ladders are basically roadblocks. And you can see this when it comes to politics. This is why you see the same incumbent being elected every term, because they gerrymander the districts. But when it comes to women, women have always needed men for something, whether it's sex, money, companionship. But with the feminist Marxists out here, what they try to do is play both sides of the fence. On one hand, they want men to be traditional by courting them with chivalry, but on the other hand, they want to be modern women. Now, those two issues are mutually exclusive, but they are working because men are still catering to women. This is where you get all the simping, the white knighting, the cucking, because you have a number of naive men out here who don't understand what's going on out here. And too many men are thinking with the small head instead of their brain between the ears. And when that happens, you give a lot of women power. Now, as African American men, I have to say they are the biggest simps. Why? Because the women that a number of us deal with tend to use their bodies to entice us to have any type of relationship with them. But the problem with African American men is we tend to put women on a pedestal, therefore setting our own belief system aside. And when that happens, our potential of us being what we set out to be is lost. Now, there are other races who do the same thing, but I see a lot of it with African American males. But what we have to do as men is understand what's going on around us when it comes to this gynocentric system that keeps us oppressed if you are a working man. Now, what you have to do as a man is you look at other men who are looking for validation from women so these men can sleep with these women, because that's what it's all about. This is where you get the tug of war between alpha and beta males. Now, I'm going to do another video on being red pill and a sigma male. But when it comes to hypergamy, Men are part of the hypergamy problem, especially if you are a father. Of course, everyone wants the best for their daughters, whether you're a mother or a father. But you have a lot of fathers out here who are simps themselves. A father is a big influence to his daughter. Because you have a number of daughters out here who do want a man like their father, because sometimes the fathers give them everything. The fathers will call the daughters the princesses or the princess. Now the mother, on the other hand, just like I said before, will compete with her daughter. In fact, the mother really, and I see this in the black community, wants her daughter to have the career, and she wants the son to be a simp. See, the mother basically teaches role reversal. But you have a number of fathers, they don't even teach their sons how to be leaders either, particularly in the urban areas. But when it comes to hypergamy, women of all races are hypergamous. They go about it different ways. Again, the black women look at looks first, and everything else after that. Non-black women are really looking for resources. But at the end of the day, there really isn't any difference. So as a man, you must recognize these signs of hypergamy when you're dating women. You must ask them questions about celebrating these holidays such as Valentine's Day, because Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and Christmas, you have a lot of women who are getting catered to by simps on these days. And now I know why guys are doing it as well, because it's not just about the sex. A number of guys are catering to women because that's what they have been taught to do. Again, society programs men and women very differently. But at the end of the day, as a man living in this modern day culture, you must be very careful with any woman you associate with, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's at school, because the system is set up for them to be protected. And this is why a number of women don't want to be responsible for their actions, because they have a safety net. And this is why a number of women will tell you they don't need you as a man, because it is easy for them to go run to the system to take care of them. Because as men, we have to do what we need to do to survive. But you can't be irresponsible with sex. You can't have felonies on your record. And you have to have knowledge. And to me, the knowledge and the education that I strive for is the street knowledge and the academic knowledge. Because if you have any type of knowledge when it comes to the real world, it's going to help you prosper. And of course, there are always going to be roadblocks, but you can sidestep roadblocks if you have the education to do so. And it is up to men to teach other men what's going on. Now, again, there's the Benny Blanco situation where if you have a number of men in your circle, you got to be, and that's another video as well. This is why I believe that a man should be a Sigma male, go for himself, take the knowledge that other men give you, and then self-improve your own deficiencies. But as a man, you can survive in this hypergamous society if you don't cater to it. The simping, particularly since the beginning of the Facebook era, has gotten even worse, and it's going to continue to get worse because a number of women are smart enough to use their God-given bodies to entice men to give up their belief system and their resources for high mileage vagina and low quality sex, or women just get attention from men with no sex involved. Now, the last video I did, when it comes to the modern day women not wanting any type of commitment, well, it is true. Because a number of women, whether they're 20 or whether they're 50, they want to party. They want to do what they want to do. Because they feel entitled to do what they want to do. Because this hypergamous system is set up for them not to be responsible. Because they can utilize the institutions in the system to help them through life. This is why they don't have to do much work. They may think they have to do a lot of work, but at the end of the day, when it comes to men, what we have to do to not allow women to have the power is you don't marry them. You don't have sex with them unless you protect yourself. You don't give them compliments. And you don't wine and dine them. You keep your money in your pocket. Because as a red pill man, you have to control yourself. And there's nothing wrong with dating. But you have to understand, you're taking a risk with a number of these modern day women because they don't care about you. Because they know if you're not going to give them what they want, they'll go to the next man. Because there's always a thirsty man waiting for them. And I urge men to become red pill or MGTOW. Because that's where the road is going to stop. Because the system is going to get worse. We need more men out here who are going to make videos. Videos teaching other men what to do and what not to do. Now, of course, being a red pill man is more than just dealing with this gynocentric society. It's about self-fulfilling your own prophecies. But I had to make this video today to let you know that it doesn't matter who you date. All modern women are hypergamous because they believe that because they're women, they're entitled to your resources, they're entitled to go to school, they're entitled to have a job, they're entitled to everything simply because they're women. It's nonsense, but that's the way the system is set up. But as a red pill man, you don't cater to it. And if you have any contact with women, particularly on the job, you make it about business. And then you keep it moving. There are too many men out here who have been caught up by getting women pregnant, by physically abusing them, and a number of men have been dishonest with women. In fact, it's not a woman's fault that she's a single mom, particularly in the black community. It's the man's fault as well. Because you have one man having sex with a bunch of women. And what that does, that destroys a community, because you have no man in a house to discipline the children. In fact, a number of these men are derelict themselves. But you have a number of women who love these abusive men. Even though it's a hypergamous society, women, when it comes to sex, they want it just as much as we do. But what women try to do is hide under a guise of a relationship. They try to repackage themselves after they've been around the block with a number of guys by calling themselves a reborn again version. I don't know what that is. There's no such thing. Once your hymen is broken, it is broken. But as a man, don't put all your value into a woman who is putting her value into you. Because what women do is they do for themselves because of the system. But they try to shame you for doing for yourself. See, if you want to get rid of hypergamy, you just don't play the game of hypergamy. Now, enough men are going to get this message, but you're going to have a lot of simping going on. And that's going to continue. Because you have men who are also traitors who believe in being hypergamous because they think they're going to get sex out of the deal. You men who are being simps, cucks, white knights, one day you will see the light, especially when all your resources are gone or some of you are sitting in jail for putting your hands on one of these women. So the bottom line, as a man, you live in a hypergamous culture, but you can stop the succubus by not feeding into her narcissistic behavior. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. If you like what I just presented, please like, share, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. You can catch me on Blog Talk Radio. I talk about different topics like Machiavellianism, the Dark Triad. Catch my Blog Talk Radio podcast every Saturday or Sunday. And you can also catch my YouTube videos as well. Just check my channel out. And for everything else, can't get me on YouTube, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. But again, happy Easter to all, although I don't celebrate it. There's some of you who do. I just want to say God bless you. I'm out.